if we help each other, it's amazing and stuff like that. And I love to help people and stuff. So if you ever need anything, just let me know.
Yeah, we appreciate that because it's hard coming out here, and you don't realize too how many people are out here willing to help, especially because your ties are severed.
Yes.
You know, like you can't have connections with anyone that leaves. Like I had to rekindle connections with people that had left.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to have somewhat of a community out here.
Yeah.
And for viewers, if you guys don't know, our great grandpa Esco is brothers to your dad.
My dad, yeah.
Okay, so that is how the relation is.
Yeah.
The correlation.
Mm-hmm.
But and so this whole story is about his mom, and she is still alive today.
Yeah, she lives in Idaho in an order house.
She does?
In jailhouse.
I didn't know that. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Amanda Ray, and when I was 17, almost 18 years old, I left a polygamous cult known as The Order. I will leave links to those videos in my description box down below. But today we have Rob Peterson.
Stuart Robert Peterson.
So your first name's Stuart?
Yes.
Stuart Robert Peterson, and we are actually related, and he's been telling stories actually about our great-grandpa Esco. And Esco's in the background. You want to say hi?
Hey, what's up everybody?
So it's been really cool to be able to hear these stories because they're stories we didn't even know about.
They hide the truth.
Exactly. They're very good at hiding the truth.
Yeah.
So I was actually contacted by multiple people, and I was told a lot of different versions of this story.
Yeah.
So that's why I found my way to you.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that we can get down to the bottom of this story. But the gist of it is, if you watch my videos, you know that the Order has a reputation of taking advantage of its members.
Yes. And
this one is just the most recent. This is not the first time this has happened, but it's the most recent. And it deserves some exposure. I guess I was going to ask too, if this person was married to Ortel at one point.
Yes,
right?
that's her uncle.
It was her uncle?
That's her uncle.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How old was she when she married him?
I think, I'm not sure her age. And then this explains a lot of the reasons why Ortel did a lot of things that were really vindictive to her.
Yeah. Do you know how long they were married for or no?
Not very long. She couldn't consummate the marriage, so she left him. And then so she had to leave the order because she wouldn't consummate the marriage.
Really?
And so she had to leave the order to marry the person she wanted to marry, and so she wasn't part of the order anymore. And then once she was with this other guy, then he had some problems and stuff like that, and they had 5 girls. After she left her husband, then they came back and she talked to Clyde Gustavson, which is number 2 in the order. And he said that they could come back because he talked to Ortel and stuff, and then they decided to let her come back. And then they kind of hooked Stuart up with my mom, and then they got together, and so that's what happened. But I didn't know that she was married to Ortel until all these weird things happened. She went to jail for like a month, and see, my dad was making enough money. He didn't need food stamps, didn't need all this stuff, but they wanted the extra money, so they'd take the money to the east side and then put it to the east side market because my dad wouldn't use any of it because he didn't need it. He didn't need the help.
Oh my god.
And so he was like, so they run it through East Side Market, so just a little extra money for Ortel, you know, because he needed that or whatever.
Yeah. So
every penny counts.
Yeah. So basically, I want to make sure I'm getting this right. Your mom was married to Ortel, left him.
Wouldn't consummate the marriage, so she had to leave the order.
And then she married someone else, had some kids with him, didn't work out there, tries to come back, talks to number 2, and was able to find your dad, marry him. But you think that maybe there was some vindictive stuff going on. Ortel wanted Stuart to do food stamps because he wanted the money. Stuart didn't need the food stamps.
No, he didn't need the money at all. Wow. He would say his savings on a statement back in the 80s when houses were like 10, 15 grand, his savings a month was 10 grand. I have his statements.
Wow. So it was really just for the order or for
for them to get a little extra.
Yeah. And then she ultimately had to pay the price for that.
Yeah. But the thing was, my dad and mom weren't even married, so all they had to do is tell the courts that they were married. But since they weren't married and they were living polygamy secretively, then she had to go to jail because she wouldn't say who the father was because Ortel said not to do that.
Yeah.
But he wanted to go to jail, so she'd suffer a little bit because see what happens when you leave me, you don't have that great of a life.
Wow. So it goes way back. He's upset with her, so he's just going to make her life a living hell.
And then so she saved $20,000 on her statement. She had it saved, and then when she married him, they says, well, you don't need this money or something, and took it from her statement and said it's just gone.
What? What?
Yeah.
And she just was okay with that?
Well, they're part of the order now, and my dad's like, I have plenty of money, we don't really need to worry about $20,000. I make that in a month.
Okay, so this happened while he was still alive, and he was just like, it's okay, just let them take it. And
Yeah.
she's like, okay. I heard this quote that Dewar's family was always like, why are you working so hard? And he had said because he wants a good life for his family. So
Right.
he could leave his family with a good
Oh,
life.
yeah.
So then when he passes away, he had, am I right, the home paid for where your mom lived, and then another home for the other 2 wives.
Right.
And so they were in his name? Or?
Yeah, no, not in his name. They were in the order's name, but the order was supposed to make so that they were always taken care of because he gave them all their money to make sure they're always taken care of.
Right.
But once he died, then they started charging Deanna rent, and then they sold the house in Murray, and they told Mom she had a week to get out.
Wow.
They're all about the money.
They didn't care about that. They just
Yeah,
wanted
they
the money.
want the money because they don't
Okay.
care about the people. It's just the money.
Oh, wow.
Once that's the holiest thing of holies is the money.
Right.
If you mess with the money, then you're not a good person anymore.
Right.
As long as you're paying your tithes and you're giving all your money, you're fine.
Right.
But as soon as you take the money, then that's it. That's
Yeah.
the holier than the holies right there.
Right. So how did they end up getting her house?
They what was in their name, DUI company
Oh,
or something like
wow.
that. Yeah,
So they were just like, get out.
yeah.
Where'd she go after that?
She moved to my sister Kim's, and then Kim moved to Texas. And then, so when she moved to Texas, then my mom got her own account, put her social security into it because she wasn't here anymore. She couldn't go to the office, so she was living in Texas. She hardly spent anything.
Right.
So with my sister Jill, figures she almost had, with the house money and that money, she should have close to $1 million. And then the other day, since she started using money, she's living with my sister Jill now, says, you're broke.
The order just is like, you don't have any money.
Yeah, you're broke.
And so she can't get any access to, there's no record, there's no proof of any of the money
She didn't save her statements and stuff, no. So
Wow.
she doesn't have anything. So she's living with Jill, which is still, her husband Dan's still in the order.
Yeah.
But she has been putting her social security away for like 2 years or something. And so she has some money now. I mean, she saved it up because she doesn't really spend any money.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm talking to you about this because now I'm like, okay, so some of my notes are wrong then because it's just through the grapevine. But I heard that the home that she had, did she ever have to pay for it ever again?
Well, from her statement, I believe they took $15,000 because that's what my dad paid for it, and you have to pay for it, and then you have to pay for it again when somebody passes away.
Yeah.
So I believe they took $15,000, but they didn't take the $15,000. They took all of her money.
So basically, when he died, then they're like, okay, well, we know he paid for the home, but you got to buy it again back from the order.
Probably, but it really doesn't matter because they got everything from her.
They just use that as some kind of excuse to just take it all.
Well, she's broke because she spent her money, but I don't see what she spent it on.
Yeah.
She's been saving money her whole life.
Yeah.
So what,
Yeah, where is it all going? That is so crazy.
Sad.
Yeah.
I mean, this old lady, these order members take advantage of this old lady. I mean, I'd be sick to my stomach if I was a man in the order taking money from an old lady.
Right. And
It's like taking still from a little crippled kid or something.
And it's even worse because she dedicated her whole life.
Yeah.
Wasn't she working for the order too?
Yeah, she worked at Standard for all those years. So she was getting Social Security and working at Standard, and she was depositing her money in there, in there, and so I'd be safe. But then as soon as she goes to use it, no, you're broke.
Wow. So she's getting all this Social Security, putting that in there on top of her paychecks in there, and then the home that she has is theirs.
Yeah.
Like how greedy can you be that you want to? Do you think that because Ortel died?
Yeah.
Do you think that he passed that hate on to his kids and that Paul was
obviously they haven't gone any better, and I mean the abuse, the things they do to people, the wives, the things, it just sickens me, and I have a rough time talking about this because it's like I see this to happen to my mom, but like when I left, I had a trailer and I paid like $11,000 for it, and then when I left, I didn't receive anything for that, but I was in debt.
Right.
And my mom paid that debt. But I don't know where the debt came from because I was only I didn't have a debt when I left.
Yeah. Did you know that it says that if you cancel your membership at the 10% or with the Days County Co-op, whatever, I don't know how it words it, but maybe I'll show a picture of it so the viewers can see, but it states that you owe a certain amount after you cancel it.
I didn't know that. It used to didn't say that.
Really?
I read it before, but I haven't read it lately.
Yeah.
They just added to it probably.
Yeah.
Because they've got to cover all bases and stuff,
Right. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I was like, wow, how could we owe money, especially when a lot of us don't even get our money out? The money's still there. What do you mean?
Yeah,
But
I didn't get any money out, and I worked for all these years, and
Wow.
and I didn't get no money out, and I owed them money.
And that's the really sad thing too, is it's like your family that's the dedicated members just end up paying that for you, even though it's like there is no debt.
No debt.
But that's really sad. Mm-hmm. And the sad thing too is like, again, like your mom was this dedicated member, and now how old is she?
She's like in her 80s. I think she's like 86.
Wow, and they were willing to do that. And
just on her last leg and just kick the other leg out from underneath her.
Wow, that is so ridiculous. The same thing happened with my grandpa too, and it's like, but luckily he didn't dedicate his whole life to the order, right? Yeah. But he did give homes to my mom and the first wife that are sisters that are his kids, and then, I mean, obviously you can't be in the order and get to own your own stuff, so they took it and put it, I think my mom's home's under Enzyme Learning Center, and then all of his money, where did it go, you know?
Yeah.
Not to my family. Yeah. But I've heard arguments, which I don't know how this makes sense, but it makes sense to these members. I've heard arguments from Paul's kids saying, well, why would you want to get handouts? And I was like, well, your dad's the one getting the handouts. So.
Yeah, it's like why is he more deserving for the people that work for it? Why is he more deserving to sit on his ass when anybody else gets everything, you know?
Right.
Why is he more deserving than us that sat there in the pits working with their parents and doing everything they can to make so this happened?
And that's the sad thing, is a lot of the members don't see him in that light because they look at it like that, like, oh, well,
he's a leader.
Work.
He's got to sit on his throne and you know, delegate orders and stuff, you know, tell people what to do and stuff so he can make sure he gets their money.
Right. The problem too is, well, for me when I was in the order, a big reason why I wanted to believe is because you don't want to be wrong, right? You don't want to be like, this isn't the Lord's church, then like everything crumbles down. Yeah,
that's why the most men and stuff that marry their daughters off in there, they can't find anything wrong with it, because if they do, then everything they've lived for and worked for is completely wrong now.
Yeah.
And they have their daughters they stuck in there. They stuck their daughters into that, and so how could you live with yourself if it's wrong?
Right.
So you could never admit to that.
Right. It's true, because if you're there for long enough, then you become part of the problem, right?
Yeah.
So then if you have to admit to yourself, oh, maybe Paul's wrong, then I've been doing all these things wrong for so long. So it's better to get out when you're younger, but it still happens.
Yeah, it does when you're older and stuff like that. I'm really grateful the way things happened after my dad died, when they told me I couldn't be around my family.
Yeah. How old were you when you left?
30-something, 35 or something. They just told me that they weren't going to cash my checks anymore, and I had to cash them and bring them the cash because of the tax problems or something like that. And I says, I don't think you're going to see one bit more of my cash.
Yeah.
Get out of my house.
Who was coming to you? Really?
Because Paul told them that I had to cash my checks, bring them cash, because they didn't want any records of me bringing them something that could be traced.
Wow.
But it was good, because I'm grateful for it, because my wife didn't want to be there in the first place. She wanted to leave as soon as we got married. She's like, I want to get out of here because this place is evil, and just I don't like it at all. I don't want my kids ever experiencing like this. And I was like, I was really upset. I was like, do you understand what my dad and what your grandpa and everything went through to build this place? And I was pissed. Yeah. I'm like, where do I drop you off at?
Really? Yeah. You're like, our roots are here.
Yeah, and then I started thinking about it, and all this stuff started happening after my dad died. I was like, okay, so the lines was ripped away, and I was like,
colors.
Yeah, and then I was like, whoa, and then I'm like, well, it looks like we're out of here.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, she was on her way out before I even married her.
Always has something to do with money, that they end up being like, hey, get out of here if you're not going to give us your money.
Oh yeah, that's the holier and holies. I mean, if you don't touch the money and you give them your money willingly, you don't put your head down and hand them your cash. So as far as that, once you stand up to them, then they're like, no, you've been here too long. You got to move along.
Were you still able to see, because your mom stayed?
Yeah, well, I can see my half family, because half my family was out and half my family was in.
Oh, wow.
But out there I couldn't, but some of my brothers from out there left. It was sad. I mean, it killed me because I love my family.
Yeah, I mean, you're so close to your family too in the order, because you need each other, especially when they're ripping everything from under you. You need each other, and then to go from spending every single day with them to not being allowed. Yeah, we haven't been allowed home for Christmas for me. It was 9 years now. Wow. I'm lucky enough to where my mom wasn't born in it, so she still is tries to have somewhat of a relationship. She doesn't it's not natural to her to just cut her daughter off. Yeah. But the whole, like, you know, the kingdom of heaven, your salvation, you don't want to risk the rest of your kids going to hell.
Yeah.
So that really does work in her brain, because she was 17 when she married into it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the age I was when I got out. I was like, thank the Lord. Is there more that, Esco, do you want to make sure that that's recording? I'm getting anxious.
Yeah, it's at 1% though.
Okay. Do you want to move this really quick? I have like 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
I want to reiterate, so this home that she had, they had bought, yes, for $15,000, but it was worth, nowadays, that
Probably
would be worth
$800,000 or something.
$800,000.
Probably.
Wow.
Because double, because back then when they sold it, that was 10, 15 years ago.
And they
probably.
sold it for 400.
Yeah.
410.
And nowadays the properties now are pretty much doubled, so it'd be about 800,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have to take into like, you have to think about, the home was about 410,000 when they sold it.
Yep.
And then however much her Social Security was going, right?
Yep.
And then just completely, I would think they would owe her like what, 800,000 at least.
Yeah.
Well, that is the full story of that, and I really wanted to share the story. I had multiple people asking me to share the story, because how can you change? How can you get anything to happen if you don't talk about it?
Yeah.
If you keep silent about it?
Yeah, well, thing is, the only way bad men prosper is if good men don't do nothing about it.
Yep, I like the quote.
That's the thing with Hitler, they'd say, is, I mean, you can sit there and he might be a good person in the beginning and people were good that started helping him and stuff like that. But once you do these bad things and stuff, then you've got to cut your ties, or you're going to be guilty by association. It's
Right.
just the way it is, and that's the same with the order. And I mean, it doesn't matter how many good people are there. If you're supporting someone that's evil, then that you're just as bad as that evil person.
Right, because how long can you watch it and not be a part of it, right?
Yeah.
Well, that didn't happen to me, or I didn't,
Yeah.
you know, there's all these excuses, but at the end of the day, doing nothing at some point is doing something and is helping them get
Yep.
away with it.
Yep.
So this is why we wanted to share the story. And I do like to ask all of my guests who have left the order this question. I don't know if you want to answer this question, but if you could say something and have the order members, because a lot of order members do watch my channel, if you could say something to an order member and have it actually stick, have it actually resonate with them, what would you say?
I would say that if you love your kids and you if you love your kids and love your family, and you should get out of there.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was honestly one thing that kept me going. And I know I don't even have kids, but when I was in the order, I was like, I cannot imagine having a daughter and having her go through this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I left, and I still don't have a daughter, but if I did, she's not gonna have to go through that stuff. And I look at it too as like the younger me, I was doing it for her too.
Yeah.
So I think that's really good advice.
Yeah. Just be there to help people and just be good and stuff. And if you see something's not right, then don't support it.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, did you want to add anything else?
No.
I think we covered most of the bases, right?
Yeah.
Okay, your suffering is over.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you.